Okay. Good morning. Yeah, I think they have a hard time to translating. Uh, so one of the, I think maybe like original Tibetan uh, poem, can say poetry, as a Marba. Before the Tibet, before the Marba, and also later other like there are lots of great po-
Poets.
poets, yeah, but they always a copy from Indian um, style. So that way, the lot of those example is they put the Indian like a peacock, a moon, and those things. Actually, India use a lot of them, but Marba, he used the really original Tibetan symbol, example, environment, culture. So lots of these days, lots of scholar believe the Marba is the first original Tibetan uh, uh,
Poet.
poet. So all Marbas of Vajra Song not based on the Indian what called that poet. He wrote like Tibetan style. So these days, can say uh, how to say like people who not really biased one.
Unbiased.
Can say unbiased. Yeah,
Neutral or
yeah,
tolerant?
yeah, huh?
Tolerant.
Yeah, unbiased people. Then they think Marba is because they biased one is that they always think that their own lineage guru is the best one. That is the first one or this one that a lot of people say. But unbiased, just generally scholar, not based on the religion ways, and they believe the Marba was the first one because of the Marbas, those all Vajra song he is saying, and after that Milarepa also follow with this. But poetry itself is a Tibetan. Of course, the Dharma teachings come from India, you know. So there's no Tibetan Dharma. It's all come from India. And even those old Tibetan master who wrote the commentary, including the Milarepa Vajra Song, the meaning of the Dharma is based on the Buddha's scripture and all those great Mahasiddhas Vajra Song, based on their including like a Nagarjuna, Asangas, those scholars, based on their wrote. So if you read the Tibetan commentary, any kind of a commentary, always you see the their point is supported by Indian scholars. They never just write down because what they believe. But when they're writing, it have on the poet.
Poetry.
Yeah, poet is you can see the Tibetan tradition or Indian tradition different. So Marba, Milarepa, and those the Lords of Kagyu master, they sing the Vajra song of the meaning of the Dharma based on that environment, based on around that environment. And so that way, many scholars nowadays believe like Marva and Milarepa, those are the original one from the Tibetan who start writing poet based on the Tibetan own culture. Um, so so this is a Milarepa. You see the 100,000 a song. 100,000 song is a I don't think so. There's a 100,000 complete, maybe less than that. But just title of the book is 100,000 song. This is a collective by Zanyu Hiruka. He was a reincarnation of the Rechumba, but he didn't write down. This already wrote by some of those disciples, that times. So he collected them, put together, and make the book. Otherwise, it's not really become authentic, because Chanyu Hiruka came like maybe much later than Milarepa, because he was a reincarnation of the Rejumba. Rejumba was a stay much later than Milarepa. He passed away much. So definitely Sanyu Hiroka never met with the author of the book. He never met with the Milarepa. I think maybe 100 or 200 years later he came. But he collected all those, what called the scattered teachings. Yeah, those he put in one book, and with his own skill, and that has become 100,000 songs. So each one have their own chapter. This is actually he wrote as a Milarepa's life story. So within the Milarepa's life story, when Milarepa traveling, and through that he's traveling, or through his who he met, a lot of them are who he met, how he met, and through the meeting, what kind of conversation happened. And most of the conversation, there's a difference between the Dharma practitioner and what called the mundane ones. Mundane one, they basically talk about the mundane things, like how are you, so it's just asking things that mundane things. But when meet with the great teacher like a Milarepa, they don't want to waste with their conversation or their meeting with the mundane, just gossip, can say, yeah, idle talk. So they utilizing their spirit, their short life to the much as they can use. That's how it become. And also not just only Milarepa. I mean, even the Lord Buddha's teachings. It's not like sometimes people may think, oh, they arranging beautiful place, a shrine room, throne, and everybody make it decorated. Then Buddha start giving teachings. Lots of Buddhist teaching are not really that way. When Buddha, like for example, Buddha is traveling one time, and they are resting under the tree. All his entourage, they resting under the tree. Then they all, some of some disciple asking question based on the sudden conditions, based on the certain subject. Then Buddha give answer for that. That is become a teachings. So there's that way there's many teachings, request by this, request by that. You see that one. If you look at Buddha's Sutra, always have this discussed by through the Buddha and Bodhisattva, or Buddha and some of his arhat discussed by. So most of teaching is like that. So the things similarly. This Milarepa's most of teachings, and also in this 100,000 song, the serious teaching of the instruction, like how to do the 6 yoga of Naropa, how to do the actually Mahamudra teachings, those serious instruction, those are not in here actually. If you look at 100,000 song, there's not really detailed instruction how to do the generation stage, completion stage. Those are, he mentioned about the genuinely, but not serious detailed teachings, because certain those teachings shouldn't give the publicly. In the Kagyu tradition, we never give it. Now, I mean, the people giving online, I see they're teaching everything, but until Dharma come to the West in the Tibet, even nowadays, they don't give those lots of those teaching publicly. They have their own custom, rule, regulation. Once you start giving teaching publicly like this, then value is loose. Make sense? Then you're not going to get the inner core, inner core of the teaching, soul of the teaching. Not going to get, because it have their own what called the time stage. And those all have to become condition, all cause and condition have to come together, then you can get. But this kind of Vajra Song, I think Milarepa's Vajra Song is maybe two-way. Most of, not just only Milarepa's, most of Kagyu masters. I talk slowly, sorry. I forget. Huh?
He hasn't said anything.
So most of those songs, two-way, including the Jedesumgun's Gungji. If people have not know anything about the Dharma, they get some idea, some instruction. Okay, so they get some idea. Oh, maybe Dharma is something like this. When the three jewels is something like this, they get some information, and they learn something from there. Like if you read the Milarepa 100,000 song, you get some idea. Briefly. Oh, three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, this and that. Some yet. But then when you go to like academic way, it doesn't help you. Make sense? Only reading that one, academic teaching, you cannot get that one. Because academic teaching style is not same this way. Then you have to follow with the instruction, commentary, and all those, root, like a root tantra, then commentary. And by following that one, then you can step by step have learned that instruction. So academically, it doesn't work. But genuinely, people doesn't know about the Dharma when they read or they get some idea. Oh, this is the something. So like when we read, even we don't know much, it benefit for us. Make sense? But then someone is a really well trained. They know everything. When they read, so for them this is like a menu. When you read the menu, you know what is in there, all detail. So it's just like a somebody who already know about the three jewels, for example. Yeah, somebody know what is Buddha mean, what is Dharma mean, what is Sangha mean. When they hear this one and three jewels, then they don't need to explain detail. They already know what is talking about. So both have a benefit, not just only for the beginner one, or not just only for the advanced one. So this kind of Vajra song, I think, is a really like everyone. Like a scholar one, when they read, then they get deeper, and they get so deep. Then also like a untrained one, or not knowing much, when they read, they learn so much from there. So I think both benefit. I heard one of Sajja Kempo. First, when he read in Milarepa song, he thought, oh, this is just some kind of a song, a little bit example here, there, not much, But then slowly, he started reading slowly, more. Then every time he read, he said it getting deeper and deeper and deeper. He is one of the really like a scholar, not just namely Kempo. Really good scholar, understandable, knowledgeable scholar. He said, more he read, it's get deeper. That Milarepa Vajra song. So then I heard nowadays, whenever he had a vacation or he go to somewhere, he only take the 100,000 song, that book, and read that one. So that is showing us this kind of teaching. I think similar like Gungji is also, I see this way. Like a Gungji, if you study, if you don't know anything about the Dharma, you will learn so much from there. But then you are a scholar, when you study from that, you can go to so deep from that point. So I think most of Vajra song have that kind of what call that?
Deeper meaning?
That kind of characters, quality. That kind of quality or character, most of Vajra song have. That is why this have this one. Is because they sing this Vajra song, or they say those words from like their own really deep understand, not just only following to the somebody's, not just repeating somebody's word. They really saying through their profound understand. Make sense? That is different. Scholar, when they write commentary, if they're not really good understand on that particular text or that particular subject, their writing is not clear, not become really clear. There's always have some kind of unclear commentary. I think every scholar is similar. But when they have a really good understand, they don't say lots of words. But by saying a certain word, it bring you to the depth of the meaning of that. So most of Vajra song is like that. There's not much word, not much commentary like describing detail much. But whatever they say, it get to the depth of the word, depth of the subject. Not just only ornament. They not just only see the ornament. So they see the fruit, So sometimes because of most of commentary is like a flower before the fruit. Looks beautiful, but not yet they are a fruit. So Vajra song is a fruit after the flower. Really result of that all detail you went through, then what you can get is that result is this Vajra song. So, like I mentioned this one, like Jidisung's 5 upon Mahmud Vajra song is the final realization of his kind of like a wisdom through the final realization of complete realization of the so all the complete realization of the 5 of Mahmud he put on this song, short one. Then the other texts like Kenji Rinpoche said, Tingyin, essence of the Mahayana, and we went through actually one short commentary on that text, using Ayya Rinpoche's teaching commentary. I think last year we went through that, and but there's one bigger commentary wrote by one of the Jidisung's disciple. So that one is one of the I think biggest commentary on the 5 path Mahamudra. Is that text, and then also there's a Degun Rizhichara wrote this called the I think we work on the English is called the Word of Dharma Kitty. That is the mainly menu of how to use the retreater practitioner. So those are kind of like a instruction. But and Jidisung's this Vajra song is a result of that instruction. Can say so. Most of Vajra song is a result of the what called that in Buddha's teaching instruction. Whatever you receive, when you receive instruction, and we said there's called the hearing, contemplate, and meditation. Through these 3 wisdoms. First, you're hearing from your guru, then later you contemplate yourself, and once you contemplate, then you have a confident. When you have a confident, then you practice. When you practice, you will realize. The realization, fruit of that realization, they sing as a Vajra song. So that way, those most of Vajra songs are kind of like a fruit of practitioners. Final result of the practitioner, what they gain as they sing as a Vajra songs. So those are their own experience of the realization as a sing as a Vajra song. So that way, they are not much word, but it's a depth, it's a meaning of and it's a really deep. Can say, yeah. So that is like I can say. Quality of the Vajra songs. So same like also Milarepa, those all Vajra songs, I think similarly that one, it's not really like a, menu of instruction is not much there, but it's like a depth of the meaning is there. So yesterday we talked one Vajra song, about the old lady and Milarepa, how Milarepa expressed to her, basically what he said to her is, you went through so much whole life, you did all those, You never thought going to happen this one, but it happened every of those. When you get married newly, what happened? Once you have a kids, what happened? Once you have a grandchildren, what happened? Basically, you work hard whole life, so much work, and now you close to the death. Now you reflect on that. What is the meaningful you have done from those? So basically, he said to her. So then she reflecting on her own life, and she kind of like crying. The reason why she crying is because she find realizing, she haven't done much to that she can truly benefit for herself. I think most of our human life is like that. Everyone is busy. We're doing so much, but at the end of the day, when we reflect on the, can I say calculate, reflect or recall, when we recall the end of the day, then we done much meaningful. Most of our time is a waste. So I think, but still, I'm not saying everything is a waste, even you mundane work but if you do with good intention, even mundane work can become a partially part of the, I think, Dharma practice. You take care of your family, you take care of your job, you take care. But one thing is you need good intention, because if everybody said, whole world said, oh, I want to renounce. I don't want to take care of the mundane. Then all the renounced practitioner will die with no food, no clothes. Yeah.
No
So
Wi-Fi.
yeah. So that way that's not possible that way. But I think whatever we can, we share the time. We cannot be 100% immediately. It's not possible to dedicate it. Even the we monk monastery, we supposed to be, our main job is the Dharma practice, but we do lots of mundane work, especially here. So this is because we do the good intention. We're not doing for our own sake. We're doing for the others' sake. So that way, even sometimes it looks mundane work, but still it will benefit. So for the other. So I think just whatever you're doing, long as it's not directly related to the negative action, like a butcher or hunter or something, fisher, then I don't think so motivation can change that one. If you said, oh, I'm going to benefit all sentient beings, that way I'm going to work for the butcher. I don't think so it work, So the motivation, I don't think so can change. But mutual work means that what kind of intention, based on the intention, it becomes that one. If you do the certain work with a good intention, it's become good merit. If you do bad intention, it become a bad. Like, for example, like a sleeping, walking, eating. This called the mutual karma, or mutual karma. I can say mutual karma.
Neutral?
Yeah, neutral karma. Why is it neutral karma? Because based on the intention, it change. If you eat with the intention of a benefit sentient being, your eating is become a part of the Dharma practice. Make sense? So that way Milarepa said, I meditate when I'm eating, I meditate when I'm walking, I meditate when I'm sleeping. Reason is because it's always doing those work with the good intention. So that way, even you do the mundane work, most of mundane work, you can transform to the part of the Dharma practice by have good intention. Because even your Dharma practice, if you do with the wrong intention, it not become a path to the nirvana. It become a cause to the reborn in the lower realm, actually. So that way Kambaba said, if you don't do Dharma according to the Dharma, Dharma can become cause to reborn in the low realm. Make sense? So that way, when we talk about the Dharma, meaningful, it's not only talking about the recite the mantra or do meditation, because sometimes people think, oh, as long as I do for my own benefit, then this is always good. But even you do with that kind of intention, even you recite mantra, is you have no guarantee that it's become good. If we do the recite the mantra with a wrong intention, that recitation of mantra can become a bad. Make sense? So
Is that because, is it just straight up karma? Or is it because you refocus your mindset with the habitual tendencies?
yeah,
in such a
intention.
way that
Yeah, that intention can change. So what I'm saying is when we said, oh, I want to be meaningful life, it doesn't mean that only to recite the mantra. Only meaningful life, it doesn't mean that only, chanting the prayer book, only go to the retreat. Actually, sometimes those kind of like more involvement of the selfishness. Actually, sometimes, oh, I just want to become this. So focus on the self. Then true Bodhisattva, they come on the field, do things for directly benefit other sentient beings. So you never see the Bodhisattva, truly Bodhisattva, they are in the retreat. And reason is also you can see the most Bodhisattva is not monk. You see the lay form, like Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Midri, all those Bodhisattva, you see the lay form. Why? Because a Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva contact is a directly help to the sentient beings on the field. So that way they cannot be that kind of a position to just being on the ordain and sit on the high level. That way cannot benefit. So on the field, come on the field and do the practical benefit. So that way, what I'm saying is when we think about the meaningful or meaningless, is not only how based on the how look of your action. Make sense? Because sometimes looks your action is really wonderful. You meditating, you recite on the mantra, but you have really wrong intention. If with that wrong intention, you wasting whole your practice and meditation of the time, because you creating the negative karma. But then, if you do the mundane work, you do with a good intention, and end of the day, you will rejoice. I've done something good. Like when we work, physically it's really tired, but at the end of the when work is done, and they give you great joy. That's wonderful. Something done. Really, I feel that way. Yeah, whenever you do something, because you do good intention, then your life is not wasting. Whatever you do is indirectly or indirectly benefit for the other sentient beings. If you selfishly, self-centeredly, if you do something and there's no good intention, then from that to is not going to have a guarantee of a good karma. Make sense? So that way, I'm not talking about when recalling our day, end of the day, recalling life. Is not talking about the only counting. Oh, I recite this much mantra. Oh, I done something wonderful. Oh, then I serve those people. I work here. Oh, I waste my time. It's not that way. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm saying is recalled ours is just one is we have to recall what we have done, and the second is we have to recall on that for what purpose we have done those. What with what intention. Make sense? So I think that is how we can slowly become more can do the meaningful things. Then all the other things also become a part of that meaningful. including taking care of yourself, including sleeping, including eating. Those all is a part of that your meaningful job. So that way, those sudden action is a neutral, but if you do good intention, it's become a good. If you do bad intention, it's become a bad. So since once you do the good intention, then everything can be become a good. Make sense? So that way, when morning wake up, just say first thing is said, I'm going to be, something good. I don't want to do something meaningful. I'm going to do something benefit for other beings, not just only myself. And then it can give you the motivate, and it give you the good, I think, good result from that. Okay, so yesterday so that is what Milarepa was talking to her, so she have no teaching of how to apply that in her mind, so that way she regret. So because of that regret, she was crying. When she was crying, then her daughter or granddaughter or that lady, Paldarbum, when come home, Paldarbum thought, Milarepa beat her something, or scold her. So she said, why you abuse this old lady? And then she said, daughter, he didn't abuse me. He just teach me something that is really, what called a flashback all my life by his teachings, flashback, and so they make me really sad, because when I flash back, there is nothing meaningful. All I have done is really meaningless. So that is how we have to, that is what is mean here. So now Grol said, Yogi, you did the Dharma practitioner. Oh, that's not here. Oh, then Grol said, the page 6. If what you say is true, the both of you are truly wondrous. That means that if you say it's true, then she telling to the old lady, oh, then both of you are wonderful. If you really are the great Lord Milarepa, because Milarepa's name of the Milarepa knows everybody, many people knows, because it's a word go town, many, but nobody, a lot of them not met him yet. And of course, humanly, most of the time, one famous one we're talking about, they always think something's a fancy one. Then Milarepa come with a really beggar, old, really, really like a kind of like dirty one. So lots of time people have really difficulty to accepting, is this a famous Milarepa, Yeah. I there's one Dubogaji master, and he had a Dharma brother, like kind of they did school and retreat all together. He's one really famous Kempo. Even how Our Holiness received teaching from him, Kempo Noryang. You can see his biography there. So I heard Kempo Noryang is a stay in the outside of His Eminence Tukse Rinpoche's residence, like attendant, And he was really humble, and some people heard about the Kempo Noryang and come to the monastery. Then they asked to him, can I see Kempo Noryang? Whereas he, they thought Kempo Noryang is some kind of fancy one, really high lama, fancy word, and stay in some kind of like fancy area. Then this a really good Kempo, but stay really humble place, They ask you, where's the Kempo Noryang? So that way, sometimes people have this kind of idea.
Misconception.
Yeah. So then she was really glad that, you are the great Lord Milarepa, then just by meeting you, I will have accumulated merit. So see, meeting that kind of great master need a great merit. If you don't have a great merit, even you meet, you're not going to have a devotion. Even you meet, you're not going to recognize them. Make sense? You not have chance to get know. You not, so that way, lots of time people say, when we said, oh, qualified guru is good guru, this, that, always it like a, something that is you always said, oh, I have good feeling and this and that. I said, but you always think that is all this good feeling, your devotion or you liking as a have to do guru's quality. It's not only guru's quality. You are merit too. If you don't have a merit, even Buddha come in front of you, you see just ordinary, like when Lord Buddha was alive. There are some people think he was a really like kind of liar. He was kind of deceiver. Then lots of people criticizing on him. So it's not like always everybody see that way. Make sense? Like I mean, later said Dalai Lama said Chinese said I'm devil, Then he point like this, So that is like even the Dalai Lama, some people see as a devil. That's their conceptual. Make sense? So like a great teacher like Dalai Lama, even that kind of great teacher, some people have this kind of, evil thought. So that way is a devotion or liking or meeting, receiving chance to receiving or practice or all is not only for the Guru's, qualities. It's our karma too. So meeting that kind of great teacher and getting chance to practice, receiving teaching, Dharma teaching, need great merit. One of the Nagarjuna's disciple called the Aryadeva, India, he said, even getting doubt on the Dharma need great merit. It's not talking about having faith. Even having doubt. He's talking about the emptiness. Even having doubt on the emptiness need a great merit. Without a great merit, even you're not going to have a doubt. Not talking about the trust, faith. So that reason, meeting with that kind of great guru, get a chance to receive teachings and practice and learning, and this is a need. We need also great merit. So like my mom always think I'm unlucky one because of the year why I'm born, that year, like start the cultural revolution. So I think around 1 or 2 years cultural revolution, one of the tough time. And she always said, you are the unlucky one. You born with a really unlucky time, unlucky sign. But then, later she saw me, what I become. She was telling to them, she didn't say to me anything, but she was telling to back to the home, to some of my relatives. I don't know why he become like that. She was kind of still not believing that I'm not saying I'm successful or great achievement of something, but, relatively, I did pretty good, Relatively, actually, I did pretty good. I was lucky enough to one of those, few who get all those chance to recognize it and all those, without any kind of uncle, aunt, or support. Yeah. Without what call this? No.
Like a,
What call this? Yeah, without that
Oh.
what did he say?
recommendation.
Recommendation.
Yeah, without any recommendation, yeah.
You said nepotism. Like were they kind of
No, it's just so so it's okay. So so that is it. So that way. So she have hard time to believe on that because I mean, getting this kind of chance and all those so need great merit. Like I met a really great teacher. Honestly, I'm not that anything. I have nothing to share personally, but I definitely have a blessing and prayer from those great teachers. They, so that way, I feel like I'm fortunate. Have this all opportunity. So similarly, meeting with a teacher like that, receiving teachings, that means that we did something great accumulation. Make sense? So that is what she's saying. I will have no. Okay. I think this is more like past tense. I had great accumulated merit. Or as again can go to this one as a past and future both, I think. And meeting itself also become a merit. It is said that when you tell the story of your lineage of the Dharma practitioner, your disciple gain the conviction and it change their outlook. It not outlook, change their heart. I think it's better. Change their heart. Please tell us about your lineage. So basically she's telling to Milarepa, I heard this one. When you talk about your past guru, people, develop the devotion. And they not just only develop the devotion, they gain the conviction, like a really steady devotion, like a one-pointed devotion, like a trusting devotion, trusting faith, gain. So please tell us your lineage. Then Jijun thought, this girl is a disciple with a karmic connection. So Jijun had this kind of, because how she, immediately have a faith and how she asked, how she thinking, that means that something have to do with a karmic connection. So he sang this song, realization on the way of a meeting with the lineage. So this is a song to her. First, the Samanta Bhadra, the pervasive Dharmakaya. Because in here, Dharmakaya they use as a significant of Dharmakaya as a Samanta Bhadra. Remember, in the four Kaya Guru Yoga, Dharmakaya is used of Vajradhara. So basically, Dharmakaya have no form, no name. Dharmakaya is like space. All the enlightened, what called the empty nature of suchness is the Dharmakaya. So that nature have no space, no color, no shape, no name, but because of for us too easy to understand, so that way said he's Dharma, what called the guru of the Dharmakaya is the Samanta Bhadras, and the great Vajradhara is the Sambhogakaya, the mark and signs. So guru as a lineage, guru as a Sambhogakaya is a Vajradhara with a major and minor marks. Sambhogakaya is definitely always a major and minor marks. Then the Shakyamuni is the in Nirmana Kaya.
That should be
That benefit beings. Yeah, that should be. Yeah, that. So this is a one way. What is it? Three Kayas: Nirmana Kaya, Sambhoga Kaya, Dharma Kayas. As a when we ordinary. We only get chance to see Buddha as a Nirmana Kaya. But when we gain to the Bodhisattva label, like a first to 10, particularly 8 booming to 10, then they have a chance to meet with the Buddha as a Sambhoga Kaya. And the Buddha as a Sambhoga Kaya always be major and minor mark. But the Nirmana Kaya sometimes come with a major minor mark, sometimes come like elephant, monkey, different form. So all Nirmana Kaya not have a major and minor mark. Like a Nirmana Kaya called the supreme emanation, like a Shakyamuni, then they have major and minor mark. But not all Sambhoga Kaya, what called the Nirmana Kaya. Like we have lots of reincarnation. All the reincarnation, it doesn't mean they are with a major and minor mark. They are Nirmana Kaya form. Make sense? They are Nirmana Kaya form. Some are beautiful, some are ugly actually. So it doesn't mean that Nirmana Kaya always have a major and minor mark. But the Sambhoga Kaya always see the major and minor mark. Why? Because the Nirmana Kaya can see by the different level of people. Some have a good wisdom and merit to that can see the Nirmana Kaya with the major and minor mark. But some couldn't see, so they see as ordinary. So ordinary have no major minor mark. Make sense? So this reason, but Sambhogakaya is always a major and minor mark. Every disciple see major and minor mark with the Buddha. So that way here use as a Sambhogakaya as a, because so have to seen Sambhogakaya is only can seen by the Bodhisattva. I think in the according to the jewel ornament said first bhumi to 10 bhumi. But normally we always say that Sambhogakaya's retinue is only 10th bhumi Bodhisattva. You know, like there's a 5 saddhiti. The saddhiti of the retinue is a 10 bhumi Bodhisattva. If you look the Sambhogakaya's 5 saddhiti, saddhiti time, saddhiti name, saddhiti purulent, saddhiti, you know, retinue, saddhiti dharma, those 5. So retinue is always you see the 5, what called the 10 bhumi Bodhisattva. If you look Sambhogakaya. So 10 Bhumi Bodhisattva, they have a wisdom eye enough can see all the Buddha with a major and minor mark. So definitely every retinue see that Buddha with the major and minor mark. So that way Sambhogakaya is with the major and minor mark. Mark and sign mean they talk about that one. And but Nirmana Kaya is can seen by ordinary people too. So when ordinary people see the Buddha, they see as a just ordinary human being. Make sense? That's that way. So everybody don't see the Nirmana Kaya as a with major and minor mark. So that way, but Nirmana Kaya always be giving teachings. You know, whenever they get like that benefit beings. The Nirmana Kaya is always in benefit sentient beings, different way. You know, whatever need. So that way, if you look the Nirmana Kaya manifestation, if there is somebody need the water, Buddha manifests as a form of water, benefit them. If somebody need the fire, Buddha manifests as a form of fire, benefit for them. And somebody need for what called the teaching, Buddha manifests as a teacher and give them teachings. So that reason Shakyamuni Buddha said to the Ananda, because when Buddha is getting old, Buddha is dying, and Ananda was really sad. He was worried about the future, you know, beings. And if Buddha passed away, then who going to teach the future beings? And Buddha said, don't worry, Ananda. All the Buddha and Bodhisattva manifest as a form of teacher to continually help sentient beings. So that way, a lot of those great teachers as a Nirmana Kaya. But not everyone will see the major and minor mark. Make sense? So that reason, but they always see them benefit sentient beings. Different way. You know, so that way these 3 and the Dharmakaya is all pervasive. Mean the Dharmakaya is you cannot say here is Dharmakaya, here is not Dharmakaya. And Dharmakaya is everywhere. You have Dharmakaya, I have Dharmakaya. You know, then in this space is Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is long as there's a phenomena, that is part of the Dharmakaya, because you're not going to find any phenomena which is not which is not including into the suchness. Dharmakaya is the suchness. Make sense? If you find phenomena which is not empty nature, then you can say, oh, this phenomena have no Dharmakaya because this is not empty nature. So Dharmakaya is all pervasive. But who can see is only Buddha. Make sense? That who have that realization, only they can see. So when you reach to the Buddhahood, then it become a Dharmakaya. Yeah. So that way, Milarepa use as his lineage is those 3. You know, Nirmana Kaya, Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya. One way you can say those are the 3 Buddha of the Kaya. Another way you can say is by your practice. When you are ordinary, you see the Nirmana Kaya. When you reach to the Bodhisattva Bhumi, you see the Sambhogakaya. When you reach to the Buddhahood, you see the Dharmakaya. By your stage of the realization, you see these 3 Kaya different. So that is, he said, these 3 are beings. I'm yogi who hold these 3 lineage. There is a female student with the faith. in this three. So he was basically hinting to her, female student as a Nyama. When Milarepa has saying this, she said that these lineage are indeed marvelous. They are like the example of the river that flow from the source spring in the snow mountain. It is said that you, Dharma practitioner, gain the certainty in the inner birthless Dharmakaya in the reliance on the outer symbolic guru of the continuing of the consciousness. Please tell us what kind of root guru you are rely upon. Okay, so she said this three lineage is like a river. River is come from the snow mountain. Source of the river is come from the mountain. So mountain to come continually. So it's a travel to the all the part of the, until get to the ocean. So similarly, your lineage is some kind of like a totally connected to the source. So what is the source? Is like a we always said dharma with the lineage. So this is also one way is saying is you should get the dharma from somebody have the lineage. You shouldn't get randomly anyone who giving transmission teaching without having lineage. Another one is what is the lineage mean? Saying is anyone who giving the Dharma teachings, you don't have to listen their idea. Because a lot of time these days, lots of people saying, I think this. Who care about what you think? Who care about what I think? My thing is my thought, my feeling. Make sense? So that isn't, you cannot put your thought and feeling to the other. You cannot abuse that way to, now you have to feel what I feel. You have to think what I think. Because my thought is not authentic. My thought is not what called relevant. It's only my thought. Make sense? And why is it not really authentic? Because we are samsari beings. We still have confusion. So my confusion, I cannot add on you on your confusion. Then it become a double confusion. So that reason, lineage means that I'm repeating or I'm repeating from those masters, including the Buddha and the Bodhisattva, what they said. Make sense? So that is what is mean the lineage mean. So now she is asking, what kind of root guru you have? And Jijun replies, my root guru is like this. Then he sang this song of the realization about how to rely on the qualified guru. So they say the outer guru portray of the external as the continuum of the consciousness. The inner guru show the internal as the continuum awareness. The ultimate guru show the minds that the ultimate continuum. So outer guru mean that you have to rely the word, explanation. You have to rely on the describe. You have to rely on the commentary. That's the outer guru. Then by relying on the word, by relying on the commentary, by relying on the explanation, then you gain the inner called the internal continuum of the awareness. Then you gain the awareness, inner. Make sense? And you have your own thought. You have your own understanding. That is a inner guru. Then ultimate guru is that what you have realization through that thought. So actually lots of time they said first rely guru as a person, someone. someone can guide you. Second, rely as a guru as a text. Then you can, your own text doesn't mean that just only reading, your own understanding. Second, relying. Also, you can repeat that by reading the text and commentary and explanation. Then ultimately, and guru is your mind. Then through your mind to have a realization, that is the ultimate guru. So that is he said. My three root guru are these three. I am yogi who has these three guru. Is there any female student with a faith in these three? So he's hinting. So I have these three gurus: an outer guru, inner guru, secret guru, or ultimate guru. So that way he said root guru. But another one is also here they use as a kind root guru. This I think most of time this root guru system, I can say root guru system, yeah, mainly is a Vajrayana language. I haven't seen any Sudra tradition. They never use that word, root guru. So this is basically in the Vajrayana tradition. In the Vajrayana, there's three different type of root guru, according to the Vajrayana. So first is called the root guru who give the empowerment. And second is called the root guru who give the instruction, transmission. Transmission is I think can say transmissions. And the third guru is called the guru who give the oral instruction. So in the Vajrayana they use as these are the three gurus. Root gurus, and can be one individual, can be all those three gurus, or you can receive empowerment from one, you can receive from a transmission someone, you can receive the oral instruction another one, you can have three guru too. So either way, one individual or three individual, you can receive those three, as that way is called the root guru. Make sense? So I think this is mostly is talking about the Vajrayana language, this root guru. One Milarepa Vajra Song this said, and there's guru are the extraordinary, like the turquoise, strong, open, golden chain. Before requesting teaching from them, I think them. This is a mistake. What kind of abhishek should one receive? So, because in the Vajrayana, particularly in the Vajrayana, you're not allowed to receive the teachings, Vajrayana, before the abhishek, empowerment. Because in the mini Tantra said, if give the Vajrayana teaching unripening beings with the empowerment, without the ripening with the empowerment, if you share the Vajrayana secret, and both teacher and student, listener and teacher, both can go to the lower realm. So this is the order or rule of regulation. As you have to, if you want to study, if you want to practice, you have to receive one of those empowerment. Then the rule also, another one is receive empowerment. Is like there's a 4 yoga: action, performer, yoga, and anuyoga, 4 tantra. Yeah. So action tantra itself also divided into the 6 family, and particularly those 3 family: Tathagata family, Vajra family, Lotus family. So also those are by receiving the Tathagata family empowerment, like a Manjushri and some, you're not allowed to practice as a Lotus family or Vajra family. But if you receive the Vajra family, you can you're allowed to practice the lotus family and Tathagata family, because through those, Vajra family is the highest. Second is a lotus, and third is a Tathagata family, because it's body, speech, mind. So there's have rule regulations. If you receive the what called action tantra empowerment, you have no permission to practice the yoga tantra or performing tantra. But if you receive the Anuyoga Tantra empowerment, you have a permission to practice the action, performing yoga or other tantric empowerment too, because it's the highest one. Highest one cover to the lowest one. Why? Because all highest one is gone through the gradually. Make sense? If you receive the directly highest one, within the highest one, all the gradually there. So that way, if you receive the highest one empowerment, you're allowed to practice other one without the empowerment, lower one. That is if you read some of those commentary, maybe nowadays there's also translation into the treasure of knowledge by Kundri Rinpoche. In that Vajrayana section, you can see those who, when, how can receive, what can practice. There's rule and regulation, because sometimes people think as Vajrayana and the Buddhism is just free, anything can do, anyone can do. That's not really. They have a rule, regulation, condition. Have to have all those. Like even mundane there, if you want to exercise some kind of professional, you need the degree, you need the certificate. So I think that's the same way Dharma too. So, so with this, then you have to receive the empowerment. Empowerment is called the rapid empowerment. So here said, so Milarepa sang this song to realizations. Placing the vase on the head is the outer abhishek. Showing the one's body to be the deity's form is the inner abhishek. Mind's recognition of the itself is the ultimate abhishek. So here, like 3 abhishek. It's not like a ceremony. There's no instruction on how to do the ceremony. That's why I told you. It's not really like a detailed explanation of what does abhishek mean. But he said, vase placing on the head. So this is like a vase empowerment. They place on your head the vase. That is symbol of all the enlightened body transformed to the you. So your body transformed to the enlightened body. Because a vase is not water. Vase is a 5 Buddha family. Body of the... So there's reason in the Vajrayana, most important is a vase empowerment. Important. Why? Because the vast empowerment differential you from the Sudra. The sacred and wisdom and for the empowerment is by those cannot make differential. Because vast empowerment is introducing your 5 aggregate as a 5 Buddha family. So through that, then give you the vase with a full of water put on your crown. It's just like you in the vase empowerment. You see when you receive the water, and you put in your crown and mouth a little bit, and by that washing away all your sin, negative, and fill with the nectar of bodhicitta, it overflowed. When it overflowed, that overflow transformed to the 5 Buddha family ornament. That is a sign of you achieve that enlightened body. This 5 crown ornaments only can have enlightened beings. Worldly being cannot put. So that way, a will of samsara holding that spirit, or kind of like wrathful one, it shouldn't have a 5 crown. It shouldn't have 5 crown. But nowadays, lots of Tibetan, they're drawing the 5 crown on them, because it looks like other wrathful deity. All the other wrathful deity, you can see the 5 crown. 5 crowns is a symbol of they transform, achieve the enlightened body. So when a vase put on your head, it's a symbol of you gain that state of the enlightened body. So receive the vase mean. Yeah, so that is the outer body. Because outer your body transformed from the ordinary to enlightened body. Then showing the body of the deity and form as the inner abhishek, mean that then you are transforming. After that, then the generation stage and the completion, especially generation stage. Generation stage of the transforming your own deity, meditation on the deity's form as a actually it's belong to the vast empowerment. But this here Milarepa was saying as an inner abhishek, because once put the vase you can see physically, so that way it's become an outer, but mentally or spiritually your body transformed to the five Buddha family. That's inner, because through the realization, through the meditation, you've transformed five Buddha family, you know. Okay, then the minds recognize the self as the ultimate abhishek. So then once through that transforming to the five aggregates of five body, then recognizing as a through with the completion stage, recognizing your inner nature of mind, recognizing your ordinary mind, as can say, or recognizing your awareness. That is called a sacred abhishek. So and also here first abhishek is a placing the vase on the crown is can the vase empowerment. Then second one is saying your body as a body to be the deity's form. Also not just only become talking about the form. I think it's also talking about the wind channel, bindu, those kind of practice. Through that practice, then you have a wisdom empowerment and secret empowerment. Sacred empowerment and wisdom empowerment through the wind channel bindu. So that's also becoming part of the completion stage. And when you do that one, you not dissolve the deity's form. Within the deity's body, you meditate on the channel, bindu, those all. So that way, I think deities is not talking about the physically only. When it's talking about the second abhishek as a deity's body, is talking about the inner, like a wind channel, bindu, that kind of practice. Inner practice. So which is mostly is when you receiving for empowerment is called the sacred empowerment and wisdom empowerment. Yeah, that is. Then through this sacred empowerment and wisdom empowerment, that's called the symbolic wisdom. So like in the Mahamudra, at that time, sacred empowerment, wisdom empowerment, people do the Tumu meditation. Tumu meditation is a inner heat, or is called symbolic wisdom. Through that symbolic wisdom, then you realizing the nature of mind. That is realization of the nature of mind is called the fourth empowerment. Make sense? So that way, this all four empowerment divided into these three. Placing the vase on your crown is the vase empowerment. Transforming your five aggregate to the five Buddha family. And second one is your body as a deity. It means that not just only physically alone, then inner, wind, channel, bindu, all those meditation, all those practice as become within the deity. That is the second inner empowerment. Yeah. So it's include the symbolic wisdom, like a Tumu meditation. and channel, chakra, those all chakra, those also belong to that. Because for the Tumo meditation, you have to visualize all the chakras. Through the chakra too, then this called the burning and melting. Through the burning and melting, you have 4 different type of bliss. That 4 different type of bliss is called the feeling. In the like a vipassana, they use that one as of mindfulness of a feeling, and so mindfulness of feeling is the same that way for the meditation. Through that mindfulness of feeling too, then you have a realization. That is called the Mahamudra. Make sense? So second and third empowerment, you will experiencing this symbolic wisdom, and through that symbolic wisdom too, then you recognizing the fourth empowerment. So that is talking about the self, what called the recognizing of the itself. Mind recognizing itself means that you recognizing the nature of mind itself. So mind means the conceptual one. Recognizing itself means the its own nature. Why it have to use itself? Because there are no secondary mind to recognize that one. Like you recognizing yourself. Make sense? So similarly, when mind finally recognizes its own nature, its own reality, that is in the Kagyu tradition we use as an ordinary mind. In that Dzogchen they use a Rigpa, awareness. It's the same. So you see that nature of your mind. So that is what's for empowerment. So that way Milarepa is talking about all those 4 empowerments. Abhishek means the empowerment, yeah? Is there, I'm yogi who has these 3 Abhishek. Is there a female student here who will request these 3? So he's hinting to her. Is anybody wish it to this way? Yeah. Milarepa was saying this, and she said, "This." Oh, Abhishek, huh? Okay. The Milarepa was saying this again. She spoke. These Abhishek are extremely profound. They are like the lion, the king of the beasts, who overthrew all other with his claws. What is claws? Claws. Oh, okay. This one, yeah? Yeah. Once I receive like this Abhishek, is said there is something called the ultimate guiding instruction that allow one or to bring awareness of the path. Please explain how they guide one along. Then in reply Milarepa saying this song. The outer guiding instruction is hearing, contemplation, and meditation. So outerly, how you're guiding is it, because you have to rely on the hearing, contemplation, meditation. This is called the 3 wisdom. Wisdom from hearing, wisdom from the contemplate, wisdom from the meditations. That is the outer guidance. Inner guidance instruction is letting rock meet bone with awareness. So letting rock meet with a bone, that means talking about the perseverance. Like a Tibetan, it's kind of like a, like a never giving up something, no matter what. Because lots of time we become a really great practitioner when everything's good in weather, good food, and your body is a refresh. You're not tired yet. Then you say, "Oh, that's a great, wonderful." Then, "Oh, now I have a headache. Oh, I'm too tired. I'm sleepy. Oh, now I got to stop." We just stop there. So without the giving up that way, just continually. Like Milarepa, when he meditated, he had what called that? Like he butt is becoming like a monkey butt,
Callous.
callous. And my uncle told me it get that callous when you meditate a long time. He got too. So they do meditate that long until the butt become a callous. That's how they reach to that realization. It's not come easily. So that reason here Milarepa said inner is a little rock meat with a bone mean the kind of like a really um, uh, uh, perseverance that will continuing without the giving up with any circumstance. Yeah, so when Milarepa went to the retreat and he made the vow. Even he said to the those all the Dharma protector, if I not follow to the my what called the commitment of the going to stay this long retreat, please just kill me. So that is how they do. So this reason sometimes like our tradition we seal the door for the when the retreaters. That is showing us that's the commitment. Because sometimes we wish to go out, especially when you're retreat, you feel like you're trapped there at the beginning. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I wish to go out, but then there's a door is a seal. Even though it's a seal, it's a lock, so you're not allowed to go. And there's a sudden custom to that. You're not allowed to cross that boundary. So build that boundary, so that way it helps us to continue. So that's have to. Sometimes we need a restraint. So we need, because we have a habit of doing whatever we want. If it, so our want and as you say always a change. Never stay same thing. So this reason, so the inner instruction. Inner guiding instruction is a later rock meat with the bone. It's mean the really kind of like a commitment to with the perseverance. The ultimate guiding instruction is experience the realization free of a meeting or a parting. Right now we have a realization. We always think that something realize, something gain. We looking at that Dharma practices like that, but ultimately there's nothing to realize, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. It's just like ice melt and become a water. When ice melt to the water, and you don't need to break anything, you don't need to remove anything, just become naturally water. There's nothing add, nothing remove. Only the form, the solidness is become a liquid. Make sense? So we need this solidness of the conceptual thought of existence to become a liquid of the what call that suchness, yeah, non-existence, suchness. Then that is only, there's dila secha chiame shapar chawo chungse me yanda nila yanda ta yanda thona na brdros. Said there's nothing to remove, nothing to add. When you look at the ultimate nature, you will realize that ultimate nature, and that will liberate you. Yang Taba means the excellent or perfect one, the ultimate. That's talking about the ultimate. So there's nothing like nothing to add, nothing to remove. In the nature itself, from the nature you're not removing anything. Like when sun is behind the cloud, there's no light. But When you don't need to add anything on the sun, you don't need to remove anything on the sun. Sun always there, shiny. Only you have to remove the cloud. Cloud is not part of the sun. So that way, same as our nature of mind. Nature of mind doesn't need to remove anything, doesn't need to add anything. Only there's called the defilement, which is the blocking to us to see the nature of mind, like a cloud. Make sense? So I think through this instruction, ultimate blah, 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 blah. A realization of the meeting with partners. I'm a yogi who has these three guidance instructions. Is there a female student here who will be request these three? Okay. Maybe we'll take short break, yeah?
Yes.
Om Bhajan Sadhu Samaya Mano Balaya Bhajan Sadhu Tenom Ba Tisha Dedro Membawa Sodo Kayo Membawa Subu Kayo Membawa Anorado Membawa Sawa Sede Membraya Sawa Kama Sutsame Chitam Shriya Guru Ha 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 ho bhagawa sawa dadangada bezama memba beze bhava
Samaya Sato.
beze bhava ma samaya sadho as. Okay, now continue. He's saying this to the Guru replies is this guiding of instruction are like a appearing reflection in the rust-free Meru. Once one has received this instruction, it said that one must roam in the mountain retreat and practice chut. What kind of chut practice you do? And reply, he is saying this song. So chut mean the the word of the chut mean the cut, and it's a this Tibetan believe this is a actually something that method of a practice this start in Tibet. Chut is most of the method of practice come from India, or like all the Vajrayana practice of the method, because all Dharma practice is a different type of a method to practice the Panch. Think the should mean that just using nice way to drum and bell and the melody. That's a part vocally, but actually should what makes sense. So it's not about how drum and bell chanting is not about that one. That is a part of and like you wearing the ring. So like using how to use the bell, how to use the drum, how to sing the melody. You see those ornaments.
Sorry, the internet connection was unstable and I think we lost it, but I think we're back.
Okay.
Yes, we're back with the internet.
Okay. So that is one of the is called the chit, how the method, how to reach to that state of the that awareness. Earlier we mentioned about the Mahamudra, state of the Mahamudra. So you have there's another method is called the chit practice. So then she asked him to what how to do the chit practice. So then Milarepa's answer was saying these songs. Roaming the rocket mountain retreat is the outer chit. It means that you cut up with the contact to the people, society. So when you cut up society and people, it become cut your conceptual thought. You know, so you go to retreat, you're not see anyone, anybody not allowed to see you, you're not allowed to talk to anyone because through the seeing, through the talking, you build the conceptual thought. So, but that way, like the staying on the mountain retreat, you know, isolating from the society is called the outer church because you cut up the source of a conceptual thought. Chit means the cut up. So you cut up the source of conceptual thought as a isolating or, you know, just staying alone. That is called the roaming in the Rocky Mountain retreat. Abide as the inner chit. So chit is also called the kusali accumulation. Kusala mean the beggar, poor one, somebody have nothing wealth. So because of the you have lack of wealth, cannot accumulate the merit. Another skill method to how to do it. In the church practice, you know, a body cut up the skull, cup the skull cup, and the skull cup hold your body put in the skull cup, and that is boiled with a fire and through the purifying with the fire, wind, water, and then that become an offering object to the you offering to the deity. You know, also you of giving to the spirit. So this is basically it's called the kusili cho saba. Kusili cho saba. Cho mean the Tibetan is used as also this kusili cho mean kusila mean the beggar one. Cho mean the accumulation. Method to have accumulation for the beggar one, the poor one, because poor one have no wealth that can accumulate through the offering of a flower, incense, candle, or any of those offering. You know, so that way, then your own body is transformed into the offering. So this is it. So that way, by that, then you're cutting. Actually, what it's doing is that when you're offering your body, then you're cutting the attached to the your physical body. Make sense? So that is a cut. Should mean the you know. Then casting the what called cutting the root of the unique is the ultimate. So this is the root of the unique. So this is talking about the nyangji, and so this is a root of the unique. What is the root of the unique? Root of the unique is that there's only one source of samsara. Yeah, nyangji. Nyangji means the only one, sole one. That is the self-cherishing. The cutting, the self-cherishing, self-grasping. That is the ultimate truth. Ultimately, you have to cut that. Because if you stay on the mountain and self-cherishing, doesn't matter. You try to give away your body, but still self-cherishing is not becoming good. Like Kamboba said, stay on the mountain and not practice your mind as you not train your mind, then you become no different than wild animals. Those wild animals all time living on the mountain, but not achieve anything because you're not training your mind. Make sense? So that way, you have to isolate the body, isolate the speech, isolate the mind. in the mountain retreat mean isolated the body mean the stay from the any kind of contact from the other, because when you have a contact you then you have a speech, then you cannot isolate the speech, then you have to talk. When you talk, then through the talking all the conceptual thought created, so that way you cannot isolate the mind. Makes sense? So when you are staying on the mountain, it means that you have to isolate all through those three: body, speech, mind. So here, there's three different truths. When you said when you live on the mountain, means that giving up all the material that you attach, basically. So cutting up all the grasping or attachment of material things, outer phenomena, the material, house, car, family, whatever whatever cause into the attachment, the outer, okay, that is the called the cutting up. The chud means the cutting up, the root of that attachment. Then inner is it your body. You can go to on the isolated mountain, but you can be cherish your body. Then self grasping on your body. Then you're not really free from the conceptual, free from the negative emotion. So that way, second one, so you have to cut inner phenomena, which is your body. Yeah. Then ultimately you have to mind free from the, because this all like attachment, outer phenomena, attachment, grasping, conceptual thought, and then negative emotion, or inner phenomena as a body with the attachment, grasping, conceptual thought, and negative emotion is a source of this all is from the self-cherishing. Make sense? Through the self-cherishing too, we're creating all this other negative emotion. So source of a unique, or can say root of the unique cause to samsara is the self-cherishing. Unique.
Yes.
So it means the sole or single or absolute cause of samsara is the self-cherishing. So that way, cutting up that self-cherishing, self-grasping. So this is the three. Cutting up the attachment to the phenomena, or the material, the belonging, is a one, as called the outer chit. Cutting out of the attachment of your own body is the inner chit. And then cutting out the self-grasping, self-cherishing as the secret, ultimate chit. So these three different type of chit or chit practice, Milarepa said. So one day, like I think long time ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, he said when Lamgir Rinpoche came here, give the church empowerment, and they said this day, he said this day most of people spend time on the the branch of the church, but they're not focusing on the like a trunk of the main body of the church. Main body of the church is a meditation on the emptiness. And that this all the chanting and the melody is a kind of an ornament. What called?
Strenuous?
Distraction.
No, not distraction, but it's a part of that one, but it's like a branch. Leaves, flowers, those kind of, but not the trunk.
Ornaments.
Yeah. So that way he said sometimes people like you try to take care of your arm, head, hair, leg, finger, nail, those are really take care, but you're not taking care of your own health. You're not concentrating on your health, but you really take care of those outer appearance one. Then doesn't matter how beautiful you create if you not have good health, and all those are ruining. Make sense? So most important is you focus on your health. Similarly, most important on the practice is the root, the main part of the practice. What is the main part of the practice on the church is the Pajana Paramita, wisdom. Make sense? So that way, if you this way Milarepa is not talking about the using drum nice way, you singing melody nice way, that's become you're a good church practitioner. Even you don't know any of those how to do, but long as you know how to cut the attachment to the phenomena, cut the attachment to the body, cut the attachment to the self, then you're absolute wonderful church practitioner. So that way there's a three type of church, he said. This female suited in here who will require these three. So, and there is one footnote here. Chut sometimes write down chut or literally mean the cut or the server, and this taking different label of the meaning as a illustrated in Milarepa Song here. So yeah, the girl said this kind of chut are like a Garuda, the most glorious bird, who overpower all other bird when he flew in the sky. There's a like myth bird, Garuda is like with arm. You see that sometime in the monastery. They say it's a big bird they can pick up even the yaks. They say, Garuda, this Jachung Garuda. So this is like that. When that bird comes, and all other birds like all overpower all the other when he flew in the sky. They are extremely wondrous. When the yogi practice church, this is something called a path. What is it? How to say? To enable him to bring adverse condition into the path. Tell me, what is the meaning of the path? Then he sang this song. So path is it? What is a path in the church? Is it nowadays? There's like only here you say path, only here you say path. Kind of like now it's become like a custom or rule. Yeah, only certain place you only say the path. Actually, true reason of a path is like when we do the karma body meditation or the conceptual thought come immediately cut up then bring back to the main practice. Similarly, path is when your mind is scattered through the conceptual thought from the meditation, and using the path. When using the path, it cut up all those other unnecessary conceptual thought. So whenever you have this unnecessary conceptual thought, including the agitation and dualness, you should use that path in the church main practices. So that is a method of how to cut the unnecessary conceptual. Make sense? But nowadays you have to say path here, then you have to say path here. Now they make the rule. It's like seems like when you get here you will have a conceptual thought, then say path. Then you get here you have a conceptual thought, then we'll say path. Now they make the rule. When you will have a conceptual, then when you say the path. But why they make this text this way? Because church is a practice many people together. Because whenever you have a path, you have a conceptual path, then it cannot work together. Make sense? Cannot chant together, cannot practice together. Yeah. So that way you create it this way, then is everybody can say same time, and not become like a in the like a.
So they can be in harmony.
Yeah, in harmony, and it become a more like a elegant, also more community. I think that reason created, but the main reason is not because you have to say pet there, because it text it. So, if you're doing practice alone and you don't have drum or not, or when you have a really strong conceptual thought, or when you fall asleep or something, you can say pet. It help you wake up. It help you, cut that whatever thought continuing, because thought is like a water wave, one after one is come, never end. And sometimes it take you so many places that you can noticing if you try to talk with someone, just random things talk, and from that subject to change so many subjects. Like, I mean, the people want gossiping or whatever. If you discuss something serious subject, then it not change. But when you normally just talking, then a subject goes to that, with that subject, your thought goes to so many different way, never ending. Make sense? So that is the conceptual thought is like that. So that way, at that time, you need to some method to how to cut that thought. So path is one of those method to how to cut the thought, or dullness, agitation and dullness, both of them. So you have the path. So here said, collecting the scatter thought is the outer path. See, now your mind is wandering around somewhere. You're chanting, yeah. Go really, but head is thinking about the food or go to somewhere. That is called the scattering. Yeah, sometimes your melody is la la la. So they say, oh, that's beautiful. Wow, that's really nice. Okay, that looks delicious. Your mind is busy with something else. And lots of time also problem is when you're memorizing the word and you not concentrate, then without the thinking, you can say lots of word. But then so that way sometimes people chanting any kind of chanting, there's looking around and chanting. That is your mind is really scattering. Your mind is not really with the chanting. Make sense? So when you have that one, that is your mind is with the conceptual thought, then you have to say path. First one. So it's called the scatter of the thought. It's going everywhere. The rousing dual awareness is the inner path. So rousing dual mean like when sometimes you kind of falling asleep, or sometimes kind of like a darkness. You kind of couldn't think, couldn't concentrate, couldn't have this energy. Some kind of like low, kind of sleepy, or not even not sleeping, but you're kind of your head is not really working.
Foggy.
Yeah, foggy.
What about bored?
Bored is a little bit different. So that time maybe you can say bored too, but mainly this is more like sinking mind. So then you said that's what it means. The dull awareness is the then dullness is you can say uh, or sleepy. Then you say the path. Third one is resting, the abiding nature is the ultimate path. Then what is the main purpose of church practice? Is that the ultimate path is to stay on the nature state. At that time, it's not saying is you have to say path. I mean, that actually stay on that state. Ultimate. Then the ultimate, you don't need to use any method, any skill to bring to somewhere else. So you stay on that state. So why you do the path? I think basically it's saying is why you have to do the path, because you not stay on the ultimate nature. That will bring to the ultimate nature. Once you stay on that nature, then always you are on the state of the path, because you disturbed mind from the agitation or sinking, dullness. So when your mind is bring out of the agitation or dullness, that is the path. So when you stay on the ultimate nature, that is the path. I'm a yogi who has these three cycles of a path. Is there a female student who will utter these three? This he sang, then she said. This kind of path is extremely wondrous. They demand swift and form action like a great king is a battle trumpets or the command. Through practicing this way, what kind of a manifestation have downfall you? then replay and sing this song, the realization. So what kind of manifestation mean the what kind of realization? What kind of what kind of you can gain through this practice? So this because sometimes people always think the manifestation means something appearing somewhere. So this is a sinla chargo. What kind of a experience, what kind of realization you will gain through this practice? So he asked him that one. So then then I in reply, Milarepa sang this song to realizations. Uncontract, ground, gain as a great all-pervasive.
Dawns, means comes about.
Ground dawn as a great all-pervasiveness. So it's called the uncontract ground. It's an uncontract ground mean the like your Buddha nature. It's not created, not fabricated. It's with its own nature. That's you realizing. Also all pervasiveness mean that nature is everywhere. Realize, not realizing, samsara, nirvana is a pervasive everywhere, like same as the Dharmakaya. Okay, Dharmadhatu. So contract. An uncontract ground, uncontract path, dawn as the great unimpededness. Is a unimpededness is I think it's the same as a totally open or unobstructed. Yeah. So something that is a path is without the obstruction. What is the obstruction of the path? When we have like a negative karma, obscuration, the affect emotion, or kind of like agitation, all the dullness, all those are obstruction. The path. So that free from those obstruction is called the uncontract, the path. Or clarity completely. An uncontract fruition dawn as the great seal of Mahamudra. So that is then through that. So the ground as a basically talking about the Buddha nature here. The path is a talking about the true truth, related truth, and absolute truth. Or you can say path as a talking about the path of the relative truth of bodhicitta and absolute truth of realization of emptiness. So those two are without the unfavorable condition, without the destruction. Like bodhicitta, what is the main destruction of a bodhicitta is called you can call the downfall. So what is the opposite of the bodhicitta? As the like self-cherishing, giving up the sentient benefit of sentient beings. And this kind of things can cause to destruction on the bodhicitta. Then path of the ultimate path of the what called the ultimate truth of emptiness and all the conceptual thought, grasping on the self-cherishing. Those are kind of a contract, yeah. So free from that path is a what called without the lam gapa member, without the kind of obstacles, So that way, here used as a called unimpeded impediness. Impediness, yeah.
That's not a very common word.
I'm basically unobstructed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, path that is unobstructed. Yeah,
Without impediment.
impediment. Okay, totally open. So clarity, that is a path. Then through that too, then seal of a Mahamudra, you get the great seal of a Mahamudra. So it means the realization of the Mahamudra. So Mahamudra is a normally we divide it into three called the ground Mahamudra, path Mahamudra, resolve Mahamudra. Okay, so ground Mahamudra as a Buddha nature, path Mahamudra as a true truth, relative truth, and absolute truth, or sometimes called the wisdom and method as a path Mahamudra. Then resolve Mahamudra as a reach to the Dharmakaya. Make sense? So those three seals. A yogi who has these three kind of experience, is there a female student who will accomplishing these three? That he's saying this, he said, these manifestations are like the when sun is shining in the cloud-free sky. Everything is illuminated and the clear. They are extremely wondrous. They're practicing with such a dawny manifestation or the kind of realization. What kind of a confidence have you attained through that realization? What kind of confidence you gain? Thus Jizumela says, saying this song of realization, being free of a deva and a ghost is my confidence in the view. It means the free of the deva and ghost mean the view that is free from conceptual of a dualistic. Free from dualistic. Free from a dualistic of a good, bad, samsara, nirvana, that kind of, is called the dualistic. Then view, the ultimate view should be free from that kind of dualistic. That is called the Mahamudra, or that is called the, in the Buddhism, that is the main view. That is actually in the Buddhism, every Buddhism, our goal is that one. View means that what we're seeking is that one. A non-duality wisdom. So that the non-duality wisdom is a what that is called that is what is mean the being free of the deva or ghost. In the hard day is mostly is why it's called the deva and ghost is people think deva mean the something good. Okay, ghost mean the something bad, like a Western called the evil and angel. Same as that one. When you say the evil mean the something really bad one. When you say angel, something really good one. So you label something good, something bad. But when you reach to the ultimate view of the Mahamudra and they're free from that kind of dualistic, free from dualistic. So that way, that is the view of the Milarepa said that is a view. Being free from a focal object or distraction is the confidence in the meditations. Right now, our meditation is not really confident. Our meditation is not really stable. That way we have to use as a focus object. Because if you will not use the focus object, there will be distraction come. But stable meditator, there's no need of focal object because everything's whatever appearance is, they can transform to the Dharmakaya. There's no that this is a focal object. This is distraction. There's no this kind of distinguish for the stable practitioner. So somebody have a confident, not confident. I think maybe not good. Confident as a word that good.
Confidence?
Understanding or
No,
stability?
yeah, stability. Yeah, yeah, that is I think better because confident means you believe something. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So maybe I don't know. Okay, then free from the hope and fear is the confidence in the fruition. So fruit is no hope, no fear. So hope and fear is come from the dualistic. So these three are all together. View, meditation, and realization. Through the view too, we meditate, we practice, and through the practice we realize what you viewing is a emptiness or non-duality, wisdom. How you meditate is on that, try to reach that state. That's called the meditation. So how do you try to reach is by using the wisdom and method, or you can say Kamabhati Vipassana. the Kamabhati and Vipassana without the distractions and the object. Then what you reach to the fruition of a confidence is the beyond the samsara and nirvana, which is called the no hope or no fears. That's the fruitions. I'm a yogi who have these three kind of confidence. Is there a female student who want these three? When Milarepa has sung, this great faith arose in the girl, and she posted to him. So through this, when they through their conversation of the singing or conversation of the asking question and answer, through his answer, she gained the devotion. So this kind of devotion, this kind of a trust, is come from your own heart. It's a really stable one. Then no matter what happened from the environment condition, you will never lose that faith. When your faith is based on some individuals, based on some circumstance, and you develop the faith, then your faith is not really stable. Like, for example, you have a devotion to the Dharma because you really like some lamas, a particular lama. You think that's guru, wonderful guru, so that way you have devotion Dharma. If nothing happened between you and guru, that's a wonderful. Then your guru devotion stay. But we're all human being. There sometimes can be ups and downs. Then based on that, then you lose your devotion to the Dharma. Why? Because your devotion is not based on the wisdom, not based on the understanding of Dharma. Your devotion is based on that individual. So that reason Buddha said, don't devotion to the person, devote to the Dharma. Don't rely on the person, rely on the Dharma. So when you develop the devotion from the Dharma, understand that is become a really kind of stable devotion. Make sense? So she had a great devotion and great faith in arose, and she did prostration to him. Taking his feet to her head, she invited him inside where she offering him respect and abundant service, food, drink, whatever. And did Milarepa also drink alcohol, so maybe some good wine too. I'm not sure. I'm just kidding. So Lama, because I was obscure with the ignorance, I never thought of the Dharma. Now, Lama, I would like to follow you as the attendant. And here, Tibetan, when you say Lama, Lama is not all the talk. We don't use as all the monks Lama. We use the senior teacher. Then could use a Lama. My Lama. It means the guru, like So this is in Tibetan culture. When using someone's Lama, it doesn't mean that is a monk. In the Western, every monk who wear the robes it become a Lama. But our culture, we don't use that one. So when you see the Lama, that is talking about the teacher, the same as a guru. Okay, same. It's not talking about who wearing the robe. Okay, so that way she take him as her guru. She take him as her teacher. So that way she call him now Lama, I would like to follow you as attendant. Please, with your compassion, guide me in the Dharma. They seek her own fault. She requires him to teach the Dharma in this way. Oh, precious guru. Now she's kind of see him as a precious guru. Nirmana Kaya, supreme amount of beings. Nirmana Kaya means like she is the manifestation of the Buddha. Because when you see Guru, you have to see this way. it means the supreme amount of the human being as a manifestation of the enlightened one. So that is what it means the Nirmanakaya mean. But not talking about the same Nirmanakaya as a Shakyamuni Buddha as a Nirmanakaya that way. But here, manifestation of the enlightened one. When said in Nirmanakaya mean the manifestation of the enlightened one. Supreme among the beings, that you are the supreme among the all sentient beings. I have not understanding, no awareness on, and I am confused. These three fall have been exposed in my mundane lives because of the not understanding, because of not aware, because of the confusion. That way we stuck in the mundane life. So she said, the southern clouds are so thick in this, there is a summer month, and that I did not send the sunrise at all. The cloud wind and the three, what called the cold wind and the three winter months as was so strong that I did not sense that the roar had bloomed. It's mean the flower, yeah.
Yeah, like how the flowers grow.
My own negative latent tendency are so strong that I didn't recognize that you were Sita. So this is like she put two example, because in the sometime in the summer too much cloudy, so no people don't see the sun. When the cloud is so strong, people don't see the sun. That's one. And second one is in the winter, there's no chance to blow the flower, bloom the flower because it's so cold. So basically she's talking about that because of the circumstance and condition and the certain things impossible. Yeah. Same things her own, because of the my own negative latent.
Yeah, latent. It's kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Tendency. This is talking about the habitual tendency. Because of my negative habitual tendency, the negative habitual tendency means that we have a many lifetimes habitual tendency. That habitual tendency continually make something is not real as real. All those appearance, whatever appearance is not real, but for us now looks real because of that tendency. Make sense?
When it says the rowers had bloomed,
That should be
flowers,
Mm.
right?
Like capital R.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, flower. Lama and Tony did two lots. See, this is a human problem. We never see their hard work. Now we only notice it when they make one mistake. They said, "How could you do this?" That's just human sometimes really bad.
yeah,
When everything is good, then nobody say anything.
yeah.
When there's a small mistake, then everybody say, "Wow, this is a mistake. How could they do it?"
You always expect everything. To be
Yeah,
perfect, so
yeah,
it's like, well, of course
yeah.
it should be that way.
Yeah. So my own negative latent, yeah, like habitual tendency are so strong that I didn't recognize in this URCD. I will tell you the story of this immature lady. Because of the negative karma, I took the inferior body. Because of the thick obscuration of my lower birth, this is also birth mistake.
Yeah, so true.
I did not sense that I was the Buddha. So, okay, I think I'm not going to say anything on this. Otherwise, I will get in trouble. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take it on.
They say, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was all Tony.
I did not sense that I was Buddha because this is sometimes this is that way. Sometimes when you losing your confidence, also not good. Lots of time we say don't be arrogant, don't be proud, you know. But same time you also need a confidence. When you lose your self-respect, then you lose everything. So same thing is here. We sometimes we say, "Oh, I'm samsari being. I cannot be like that." This is lots of Tibetan Buddhism. We have this sometime idea. Lots of lay people say, "Oh, I'm lay people. I cannot do that one. I'm not like a monk in this and that." You know. Then monks they say, "Oh, I'm just ordinary monk. I'm not reincarnation. I'm not Rinpoche." They just themselves put down and then they look down themselves. Then they never think that they are capable to do this one. So we have this, sometimes we do that way. But Western is a little bit no problem for that. Sometimes a little bit overconfident. Sure, no problem. Yeah. So, so actually, lots of time we have this like you know what called this lack of confidence, self-confidence, self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
Yeah, self-confidence. So we think, oh, I'm not good. I cannot do this one. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. This so that is, I think, actually not good. You have to learn how to respect. You know you have to believe yourself. I think this one is you need to believe yourself. You need to trust yourself, and but it's different that you like you know we said we have a Buddha nature. Some people treat themselves as a Buddha. That's a mistake. You're not Buddha because you are destitute being.
That's what happened all this.
Yeah, you have destitute. You are destitute being, but you have a potential to become a Buddha. You need that confidence. You need that belief. So that is different, you know. Overconfident and a confident is different. It's a, when you believe that you can become a Buddha, that's called the confident belief. But overconfident means, oh, I'm the Buddha. That's a mistake. Make sense? So sometimes we lack of that way. Said, oh, you know, I'm. So she shared that one because of that my circumstance and environmentally. Actually, I you know, truth is environmentally at that time, and especially I think some area people look down on the female more than male. Actually, that last place. I think West is really bad on that. You know, still really bad actually. You know that I mean that only few years ago, some athlete get same equal pay. Until now, they never get that equal pay. Make sense?
Oh, yeah, we feel it.
Yeah. So no. I mean not make sense. Not make sense. Yeah. Not make sense that one. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean that my this isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. So I should say that way. So. But where I grow up, truth is that environment, we don't have that much distinguish, that much differential. You know, there's not much. So at the beginning, I didn't see that as a really sensitive. For me, I don't see that sensitive because we don't have, like my family, everybody does everything. There's no really particular, this is female, a woman's job, this is man's job. We don't have that one. You know, so like most of people do everything whenever they are free. So that way I don't have that sense of how sensitive that one. At the beginning I didn't understand, but now slowly I understand because of the learning culture and how you know, and so that way she is saying that this way. So because of that way, sometimes people like they have this kind of a like a lack of a confidence and lack of a belief. Then they said, "Oh, I'm not good. I cannot do." So this as I said, lots of Tibetan lay people think that they cannot do lots of things that monk and nun can do because they are lay. Yeah, and monks and nuns they said, "Oh, we cannot do this because we are not Rinpoche. We're not reincarnated." But the reality is there's nothing have to do you are reincarnate or not, you are lay or not. It is have to do with your ability, your capacity. Make sense? Like a marba, certain things can do, even the fully monk cannot do. Spiritual some activities performing. Miller about certain things can do. Even the these days you can call the high lama, they cannot do. They fully ordained high lama. They have such high title, but they couldn't do like a much as like what Milarepa can do. So that way, it's nothing have to do with your lay or ordained, your male or female. See, but because of the culture, because of the belief system, and sometimes we pressures each other, then look down each other, then we self doubt. Oh, I'm not allowed to do this one. Make sense? This system created things like that. So that way she said, until now I didn't know I'm the Buddha. I was the Buddha. All sentient being inherent possessing Buddha nature, and therefore all fundamentally are Buddha. But due to the obscuration, they are not able to perceive that this is so. So that's now see because of the obscuration. Having no perseverance, I never thought of the Dharma. When I knew I should do Dharma, I was worried away of laziness. But this is first, we don't know about the Dharma, how to do. But then when we learn a little bit, then another problem comes called the laziness. Oh, I will do tomorrow. I will do next time. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, this is not good. When I'm fresh, then I will do more. So laziness will come. Laziness have two kind of laziness. Okay. I mean, there's a three laziness, but mainly two kind of laziness. One is that doesn't want to do, postponing. That's called the one laziness. One is you are so busy with doing negative things. Make sense? That's another lazy. Because so that way there's a two kind of laziness. So but those two laziness and disturb our practice. I have to talk slow to them. I forget. I need a really good here. What called the sign said, talk slow. Yeah. Lama make one sign. Okay, here. Talk slowly. I forget all. Yeah. If a woman has a nice face, then her freedom is lost. If she has an ugly one, she can't find a companion. We leave our kind parent behind and sacrifice ourselves for our husband's sake. Being so sensitive, we have little patience. This is, I think, basically she's saying is we like to play, but really sensitive. She said, "This woman are. This is not Milarepa saying. This is not I'm saying. This is Paldarbum saying. Okay, so don't blame me anything if you don't like it. This." so she said, "Women are." So beautiful lost freedom mean that then she becomes someone's wife, and at that time most is a man dominated. Actually that way is a freedom loss, but these days I think most of men are losing freedoms when they get married. Okay, that's just a joke.
I think it's a two-way street. Depends on the marriage.
Yeah, but I think mostly I said I didn't say all. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Oh my
Right
gosh,
away.
you really did.
No, that's good.
He needs, I know, he does.
Talk slow.
Flower can hold it.
Okay. If I see this one. So, but then if you have not good, I mean, people attractive mostly is attractive with based on the look. That is what talking about. If you are ugly and she cannot find the companion, we leave our kind parent behind because all that kind of like culturally what the marriage mean that always a woman go to most of like 90% of the women go to the men's family, join to the men's family, marry 90% of a marriage like Tibetan, and I think 100% in India, maybe not that many, maybe not 100%, but the majority is like women, go to the husband's family, join there. So that way she leaving behind her parent, she have no chance to serve them. That is talking about behind sacrifice ourselves for the husband's sake, being so sensitive and have little patience, we cruel and much and are adept of the arguing, so collect all the gossip in the land. At home, we must act as the watchdog, though our food and wealth are to be shared by all, and all temper and greed are our actually lot, and we never think of death and impermanence. Our obscuration follow us like the shadow. Now, from my heart, I wish to be practice Dharma. I request teaching that easy to understand and put into the practice. But I think these days people don't like easy to understand because easy they think this is not profound. When somebody try to talk to them in a really difficult way, they say, "Wow, this is so profound." So why is it profound? Because I don't understand. I think people like more that kind of teaching, yeah. Make it really complicated. Said, wow, it spent my head. And then, pleased by what she had sung, and Jesus sang this song to realization of the reply on her request. Oh, my disciple Paldarbum, this story you told of the woman life, if I praise it, you may think too high of yourself. If I admonish, like say, yeah, it like admonishment that say bad things, you may become very angry. If I say how it is, it will expose your fault. Now listen what this old man says, Milarepa himself. If you want to practice Dharma from your heart, it's time to put off scraping your belonging and face. Belonging means they're talking about the J. He misunderstood, not belonging, face. So if you want to practice Dharma, stop kind of makeup things,
washing.
cleaning, washing, try to make yourself pity, stop that one. And start scrubbing your own mind. So practice with, scrub, clean your mind. It's time to give up your vanity and potential. Potential?
Pretension, yeah.
Pretension. It's also, it can say elegant and hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy, yes. Elegant and hypocrisy. I think maybe that's it's the same meaning.
Pretension is when you think you're better than you are.
Yeah.
Or you're putting on airs, they say.
Yeah. No, I think here is elegant. You're like all wishing to be, desired to be, all good things want to come. Then future is, I think, it's a hypocrisy. Is better. Yeah. It take lower, humble position. Time to give up your servitude of husband and son, and follow the fully qualified guru. It's time to abandon in the work for the good for this life and accomplish the great benefit of the next. It's time to abandon in the uh, aversity, I mean the stinginess and the desire to the wealth, and give generosity to the all the without any bias. If you understand at this point, then you are clever growth. So this is basically what Miller was saying is they try to do something that is a long-term benefit, meaningful. That so like if you try to clean always your face or figure or outlook, no matter how much you clean, it never become clean, But if you clean your mind, then you can ultimately clean. So if you try to do the mundane things, try to build whatever name, reputation, wealth, they are not never going to be forever with you. But if you will the wealth of the knowledge, wisdom, and the realization, that is yours. So basically, he's asking what is the long termly good and what is not. So just choosing them. Child, you are childish like the little lark. There's one bird.
Yeah, it's a small bird.
Yeah. And you speak very well, but you are wrapped with the Dharma of the Dharma really. Child, you're like the forest peacock. You have a beautiful form, but you are bred of the Dharma. Child, you are like the marketplace peddler. Peddler means the like a seller. Okay, marketplace seller. Though you are quite sure you are bred as the Dharma. It's been the lying and medicus.
Shrewd means clever, but kind of tricky
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Yeah, tamsen is a Tibetan. Actually, it means that tamsen is a kind of lying. Yeah. I think if you wish to be practice Dharma well, you should follow after me and so do as I do. Meditate on the key instruction in the mountain without the distraction. So Milarepa did whole life meditation on the key instruction what he received from his guru. On the mountain, why do the mountain? Because there's no distraction. In the mountain, there's nobody disturb you. But when you're in the town, like everybody comes, so there always be some visitors, always be someone come, someone want to talk to you. But if you live on the mountain, then you're like most of the day is free from distraction. Like we here, really, really free from distraction. So if you want to go to free from distraction, go to TMC. If you don't like to see people, go to free TMC. They sing, then the girl offered to the song reply on the Jizuns, a precious guru, yogi with whom my contact is so meaningful. In the day, I'm busy with the work that never ends, and the night I fall into sleep and stupidly. The down of the from the down on the dust, the work of the food and the clothing slept me. Thus, I am never free to practice to the Dharma. In Tibet, we have one joke. One monk said, most of monastery system is like a senior monk have a 2-3 younger student as a student, so they kind of live like a family like that. So the one monk have like 1 or 2 student, young one, and that the monk said that one day we are kind of free from the busy, then that day we should go to picnic. He said many times they never have free, always every day have something to do. One day that young man got tired and he saw that somebody's dead body carry on. Teacher, is he now free to go to picnic? So, so if we wait for until you're really like free, you will never find that one. Lots of people first go to school and busy with the formal in school, then busy to try to look the job. Once you find the job, you're busy to build a career. Then once you're busy, then you said you're waiting for the retired. When you retire, then you have lots of things to do, busy with many things that you become more busy than actually before the retire, because before retire, well, your kind of system is a more kind of schedule. So unless you have a weekend free, then once you retire, even you have no freedom on the weekend. So basically you become more busy, then you never find the free time. Actually, it will wait for the truly free time. So that is what it means here. There's a Jesus said, if you want to be practice the Dharma purely, you must understand the worldly activity to be the enemy and leave it all behind. Repair her song, and he sang this song to realization on the 4 things that I leave behind. Oh, student, Lady Paldarbum, listen, you are wealthy one with faith. Listen, you, wealthy one with faith. I mean, that talking to her. Your future life extended far beyond this one. This means the next life. There's no like how long will be there. There's no the numbers. Behave your appropriate profession for them. So it means that either this life we saving the money for the retirement, and we those are we prepare for this life. But this life is a short compared to the next one. Have you saved for the next one? Prepare for the next one. What you can take to the next one. Make sense? So in the Tibetan we said, I mean, I shouldn't say Tibetan. That's not good. I'm not trying to make you Tibetan, There's a way to say, we said, so I want to pay, thanks for the past life, give me this life. But I want to be warned for this life. Make sure don't throw me to the really bad condition for next life. So because the past life give us this one, but this life have a responsibility of how to take care of the next one, next life. So that way said we have to prepare it. But have you, okay, if you haven't provide provision for them, that provision is a generosity. You should be generous. So like Kababa said, whatever give is your, whatever keep in the home is not your. Because when you die, only what you can take is whatever you practice the generosity, that merit will go with you. Make sense? If you keep in the home everything, and none of them go with you, including your body. So that way, he said, profession for the food, clothes, for the next life preparation is a practice of generosity. This enemy of the God, dog called the avarice, is with the stinginess. Though you think it's a benefit, will only bring harm. You think, oh, I'm keeping myself. It's a benefit, but it's only harm you. Have you understand that avarice is the enemy? If you understand, then you should leave them behind. Oh, student, lady of a Paldarbum, your future life will be even dark than this one. Have you prepared for the lamb for yourself? If you haven't prepared for the lamb for yourself, the lamb of the luminosity is a kind of awareness of luminosity. You should familiarize on it. This enemy of the corpse, like the sleep, called the ignorance, though you think it's beneficial, will only do harm. So what is the luminosity? Luminosity means the knowledge. Learn. Never be limited yourself. More you learn, next life become more smart. Some people, without the effort, they become a really good grade, get lots of grade. This is because the past life they already learn. So that way this life become much easier. Some people start so hard, but never learn. Really, I met with this kind of people in the classmate. Some they really put effort so much, but have a hard time to really learn it. But some people never do any homework or anything. You never see them really studying, but they really great to learn. So a lot of this is have to do from the past lives education. So this life luminosity. What does luminosity mean? The educate yourself, learn, never be limited. There's your brain have no limitation of the what called the memory space. Ah, or student later, your future life will be more fearful than this one. Have you prepared guard and protector? If you haven't prepared guide and protector, the guide is a supreme dharma. You should practice it well. This enemy will be
Dissuades?
destroyed. What they mean that you call the relative, though you think they are beneficial, will only do the harm. Do you know that relative are enemy? If you do, then you should leave them behind. Why relative are enemy? Here saying because mostly because of the relative, we have a more chance to do negative karma because of the negative, you know, like a mundane advice you receiving from the mundane advice, you know, they give you how to destroy the enemy, how to, you know, protect the loved one. So only teach you basically say what is a strong way to build the attachment, what is strong way to build the aversion. So that is a, it's not talking. Milarepa is not saying it's a relative are really bad. Don't trust them or anything. But karmically, dharmic way, you know, by staying close to the relative, creating more negative karma than far. Like you know, I don't have any relative around here, so that way I don't have any kind of this emotion of attachment and aversion. This based on the relative. Make sense? Because so that reason, lots of Kagyu master, you know, past master, they always have said, you know, those his students don't go to hometown. One thing is don't go around the hometown. Because when you go to the hometown, then you always build this emotion of the attachment, aversion of the loved one and enemies. That's always a come. So that is talking about here, Milarepa. Oh, student lady, Padma, your future life's path is more long and treacherous than this one. You have a prepare for your stallion on the right, like horse. If you haven't prepared your transportation, your stallion on the right, your stallion is a diligence. Please practice it well. So, yeah, diligent is, you know, perseverance. This enemy that is deceive you called the laziness. Though you think it's beneficial, you will only bring harm. So because sometimes we just relax and think, oh, this is good for me. You know, that's we think that's a good. You know, oh, this is like it sit on the lazy couch and say, wow, this is really good. But it will you then. So okay, time to stop here. So I think this song, this like practice, this four subject, Milarepa said, you know, practice of the generosity, practice of the luminosity of the wisdom, and practice of the uh, guide from the Dharma, and practice of the perseverance. These four bring you to the many lifetimes beneficial. You know, so if you avoiding all those four, then it's not necessarily always good. And so, yeah. Okay, so talk slowly.
After everything done.
Yeah, after everything done. Yeah. Okay.
This is really good.
I hope you
Thank
remember
you.
the next life.
This
Yeah.
is really good. I know.